Hey there, welcome back to the channel PantherSchools. My name is Amit Singh, and today in this video we are going to talk about how you can implement an approval process with the help of flow. We are not going to talk about the traditional approval process or the classic approval process which is there, and we have been developing that. In the recent release Spring 25, Salesforce has actually given us the ability to create the approval process like we create flow orchestration. Flow orchestrations are basically paid whenever you are developing the orchestrations, which are available 600 runs for 12 months, and if you want more then you will have to connect with your account executive. But when it comes to the approval process, flow approval process, there is no limit. These are completely free, so you can develop these flow approval process without spending additional money. If you talk about the additions where these flow approval process are supported, so it kinds of support all the additions which are available, all popular additions that we have, including the developer addition, and we are going to use developer addition to implement this approval process. Now what is the scenario? We are going to, as we said, we are going to implement the discount approval process for the opportunity object, and there are two types of approval process which we can develop with the help of flow approval process. One is record triggered and one is auto launch approval process. This video is mainly focused on the record triggered approval process. We will talk about auto launch approval process in the next video. So here is the scenario which we are going to implement. An opportunity is created, then we are going to check if the opportunity amount is greater than 50,000 and discount is greater than 0%. If no, then we are going to stop, we are not going to do anything. If yes, then we are going to submit the opportunity for the approval to the logged in user manager, to the user who is submitting the record, and then we will wait for the manager to approve or reject. When user will be approving or rejecting, we are going to check if manager has approved and discount is greater than 10%. If the discount is greater than 10% and manager has already approved, we are going to send this approval, a new approval, to the regional manager, and we are going to wait for the response for that manager. Finally, once user will be approving, if the user is approving, we are going to change the approval status to approved. If a user says that no, I don't want to approve this, then we are going to change the approval status to rejected. If the manager has approved the record but the discount is greater than discount is less than 10%, then we are directly going to mark this record as approved, mark the opportunity record as approved. Basically, that is what we are going to do. Now, as we're talking about couple of fields over here, the discount and approval status, so these are the prerequisites for this video, that we will have to create a field called approval status, that I have already created under the opportunity object. So I have got approval status and approval comments. Approval status picklist field is having certain options like submitted, manager approval requested, manager director approval, marketing director approval requested, but you could have simple submitted, approved, rejected, or recalled. Approval comments is again a text area field which I have created. Similarly, I have got a field called rejection comments, which would be going to hold the comments about if the user has rejected the opportunity. And then I have got a field called discount percentage. So that these are basically the four fields which we have to create as part of the prerequisite, and we have created that. What we are going to do is, because as we talked about, this is a flow approval process, Salesforce actually gives you the template, a template for approving or rejecting the record. It could be any record, it could be opportunity, lead, or anything. If you want to utilize that, you can utilize that template, create your own flow. Or if you don't want to basically utilize, as we said, you can always create your own flow. For this video, we are going to utilize the existing template which is already available so that I can show you how it works, and in the next video we'll talk about how you create your own template. Let's quickly navigate to the home page and we are going to create a flow. So search for flows, select flows, click on new flow. This will take you to flow screen page where you want to create a flow. We are going to search for flow. Oh, sorry, not flow, search for approval, and you will find something called as record triggered flow approval process. This is what we want. Select this, and then which object we wanted to develop the approval process. This is going to be opportunity. This is our object. A record is created and we wanted to add condition over here. The condition is amount should be greater than 50,000. Then we are also going to add one more condition, that discount percentage does not equal to null. So these are the two conditions which we really wanted to put. Number one, amount should be greater than 50,000, and number two, discount percentage should not be null. Once this has happened, if you click on plus, you will see there are different options over here. There are only two options. One is stage. One approval process can have multiple stages. In our case, we have the first stage is that the manager is going to approve. Second stage is that the regional director or regional manager is going to approve if discount is greater than 10%. So what we are going to do is we are going to add a stage here and we will say manager approval step or stage. And what we will do is under this stage we have got steps, because one step, this is the stage, it could have multiple steps like updating the opportunity record, approving or rejecting the opportunity, sending the emails if the approval has been completed or not. So as soon as opportunity is submitted for approval, we want the manager to take the actions, either approve or reject the opportunity. For that, click on add step, and under the step you will find there are two steps. One is approval step, which is the interactive step that lets the user to choose the approval or rejection option, and second is background step, which runs in the background. So we are going to select approval step, and I would say step 1, maybe 1.1. That's the name of the step. You can keep it manager approval or something like that. When to start the process, you can also have the conditions over here. There are different conditions which you can do, like when the specific criteria is met, you can do that. What action you want to do here? Now this is the action which your manager will take. The logged in user manager will take, like approve or reject the opportunity. And there is something called, if you search for approval, not search for that, there is something called evaluate. If you search for evaluate, you will find evaluate approval request. Select that, and this is a screen flow basically which is already created. So you have to click on open flow. If you wanted to see what is there, it is just a screen element, a screen flow, that's it, having options like approval decision or decision comments, and then if you want to add additional details you can do that. This flow has basically the output. The output is like approval comments and approval decision. Approval comments holds the information about why this record has been approved or rejected. Approval decision holds if the record is rejected or approved. Okay. Then which user is going to approve this? For the demo purpose, I am going to select my own user, but hard coding user is not a good option. You can always choose the username from the resource which you are getting, and for which record we wanted to approve it. This is for triggering opportunity.id, the opportunity which is triggering the approval process. You can also customize the approval email notification. You can also do that. For approval types, there are different options like user resource is a dynamic variable, group. You can select the groups, you can select the queue. So you have various options over here. Depending on your need, you can choose that. Let's go ahead and save our flow. I have given the name of my opportunity as XIRR opportunity approval process flow. depends on what you want to do. Please feel free to change the approval process name, that's fine. Ignore the warning for now. Now once this approval, this is basically for the step 1 where manager is approving. After that manager, we are going to wait and then we will check if the manager has approved or rejected, right? So we are going to add a decision element here. So let's click on plus decision element and we will say check if manager has approved, and the first label is approved, and if it default we are going to say reject. So if manager has approved, we wanted to basically check another, we wanted to perform another check here, right? We wanted to perform if the discount is greater than 10%. If that is the case, then we are going to send it to the regional manager. So what we will do is, there are two options: either we add another decision inside approve, or we add another path here and we say approved and regional manager approval required. So this has to be the first option, and then the first option would be approved and regional manager approval required, because the order of execution is going to be first, second and third. So we are going to check, and how we will get to know if the record has been approved or not, based on the outcome of the step number 1. How it will happen is, we will search for resources, click on manage approval stage, step 1.1, outputs, approval decision equals approve. This is how basically you are going to put approve. Now this is something which is coming from your flow, the flow we have selected for the first step. And if you go to this screen, or if you click here, approval decision is basically nothing. It's a radio button. Approval decision is radio button, and under that there are two options here, like one is approve and one is reject, and these are these two choices. If you look at this value, it is approve. If you look at the third other value, it is reject. That is what we are checking over here. If you are using your own flow, use the other value which you have provided. Second, again we are going to, and one more thing here, we are going to check in the first condition, discount is also going to be checked. So we'll say record dot discount percentage is greater than or equal to 10%, which is 0.10. 10 divided by 100 is 0.10. Second, it is going to be pretty straightforward. Manager stage, step 1.1, output, approval decision, and it is approve. These are the two options we have. If it is rejecting, we wanted to update the record to rejected. If it is approved, we wanted to update the record to approved. And if it is approved and discount percent is greater than 10%, or discount is greater than 10%, we need to send it to regional manager. Click on plus sign, select another stage here, and we will say regional manager approval stage. This is the stage. When to complete the stage, when all the steps have been marked as completed. And under this step, we are again going to add the same approval step, where we are going to call our flow evaluate. Now you can create multiple flows depending on the type of approval you are putting here. Maybe for regional manager, you want to display multiple other information, like what was the previous comment which manager has provided. You would like to see that, you would like to display to the regional manager. You can do that. You can make the changes into your flows and you can utilize those flows. For now, we are not going to do that, and we will say regional manager approval. Which user? Again, I'm going to select my user here, and record ID is going to be the opportunity ID which is triggering the record. Make sure that log the record is selected and approver can edit the record, and then save your changes. And again, you will have to add a condition over here to check if the approval, the manager has approved or rejected the opportunity. Let's add the decision here. Label is approve or reject. The first label is going to be approve, and this time we are going to check based on the outcome of the approval step, which is regional manager. So go to insert resource, regional manager, then step is your regional manager, outputs, approval decision is approve, and by default it is basically reject. So I'm going to put reject like this, default. Okay, now you have created your flow, which basically is now done, and the UI part is done. There are a few things which is missing here, and the number one thing is that if user has approved and discount is less than 10%, the approval status field or the discount approval status field on the opportunity should be updated to approved, and the approval comment should be updated. If the regional manager has rejected the opportunity, it should basically reject. The approval status should be rejected, and it should be basically rejection comments should also be populated. Now to do that, what we will have to do is, as for these approval steps we have used the screen flow. Similarly, for these we also have to create some flow here. These will be auto launch flow. For background step, these will be auto launch flow. So let's navigate to our flow. We are going to quickly navigate to the setup, and from the setup we are going to navigate to the flows and click on new flow. So we are going to create two flow here, one for approving the record and one for rejecting the record. Select auto launch flow no trigger, click on the toolbox, new resources, and we are going to create a variable. Opportunity ID is the first variable. We wanted to accept the opportunity ID. We wanted to know which opportunity ID we wanted to approve or reject. Click on done. Then click on new resource. We are going to create another variable, and we will say approval comments, or just say comments. Approval comments, text available for input. And once you have done this, click on plus sign, search for update records under the elements. The label of my update record is update approval status. I want to specify the condition to identify the records and set the field individually. The object we want to update is the opportunity object. Based on which criteria we would like to identify the object? Based on the opportunity ID. So let's search for ID. The first column is the ID equals opportunity ID, which we are accepting from the flow. Then fields, which field we want to update? We want to update approval status and approval comments. Approval status will be approved because we have approved it, and approval comments will be approval comments. Save your flow. I have provided the name as approve opportunity discount, not approval. It should be approve opportunity discount, and then save this. It is always best to debug your flow by clicking on debug and then providing the required inputs over here, like what is approval comment and the opportunity ID, and you can test it if it is working fine or not, and make sure you activate this. So one flow we have created for approving the opportunity discount, and then we want another flow for rejecting the opportunity discount. So what we will do is, while we are on the same page, click on the drop down next to save as new version and click on save as new flow. Provide the name of your flow as reject opportunity discount, or if you want to give another name, give it. Save this. The same flow will be basically saved over here. The only thing that we need to change here is the approval status, and field will be rejection comments instead of approval comments. So we are going to remove this approval comments and we are going to put rejection comments, and approval status has to be something called as rejected. So we'll select rejected, and rejection comment will be the comment which we are receiving from the user. We will see how we pass the value, but these are the two important things which we needed, and we are done. Let's activate this flow. Now you have activated both the flows. You have created both the flows for approving the opportunity and rejecting the opportunity. Get back to your flow orchestration approval process, or refresh this page once. The reason we are refreshing this because we have created the flows after we have created this orchestration, so we will not be able to see those flow. Now let's set up our rejection comment here. Click on plus sign, stage, and we will say opportunity reject stage. And under this stage we are going to add a background step so that it will automatically change the status of opportunity and no user interaction is required. So the label of background step is reject opportunity. The flow which we wanted to call is reject, and as soon as I search for reject, I got my action called reject opportunity discount. And if you remember, we have created two variables, two input variables in our sub flow, in our auto launch flow. One is opportunity ID and second is the approval comment. Opportunity ID we will get from the triggering record ID, and approval comments we will get from the step number 1. So this is step number 1. So we are going to say manager approval stage, step number 1, outputs, and it should be approval comments. That is what it is going to do for your rejection. For rejection, and it is going to do that. The variable name says that it is approval comments, but we are actually passing the comments whatever the comment user is providing for rejecting that opportunity. Similarly, we are going to do the same for regional manager. So let's add another stage here. Regional manager rejection stage. We need to add another step here. Background step. Search for the action which you have created for rejecting the opportunity discount. And name I would say reject opportunity discount. Opportunity ID is going to be the same as triggering record ID. And approval comments are going to be the comments which we are getting from regional manager approval. This time this is the step number 2. So let's go to there, find our orchestration stage, select regional manager approval stage. Then under that there is one step. Then you have got outputs and then approval comments. That is how you will be passing the information to the approval comments. Now if the record is approved, you have to add another stage over here. Click on stage. The stage name is manager approved stage. It will have another background step here. Approve opportunity. The action, search for your flow which you have created, and it should be approve opportunity discount. Provide the record ID and approval comments. Approval comments is basically from step number 1. So let's take it from manager approval stage, step 1, outputs, approval comments. And the same thing we will have to do for our regional manager as well. So the stage name which I have given is approve opportunity regional manager, and we are going to have a background step over here. Label which I provided here is approve opportunity RM, which is for regional manager. Action is again going to be approve opportunity discount, and then provide the required input parameters. So that's basically how you are going to provide the information to your subflows, and your subflows is going to take the actions as per whatever the inputs you have provided over here. Now one thing that I would like to tell you here is, whatever your subflows are there, do a proper error handling by adding the fault path into your subflows. Do a logging, that will be basically better for you, and you can also do the error handling for your orchestration process as well. So if you select this particular stage, click on 3 dots and you will see an option to add a fault path, and under that fault path you can add the stage to handle the errors, and that will basically help you to handle the error at the stage level. You cannot do at the individual step level, because individual steps level will be handled at the subflow itself, and the stage level can be handled into the orchestration flow itself. Once you are done with this, this is how your complete flow going to look like, with 3, 4, 5 stages that we have. And then make sure you save the changes before we activate this. Now, few things that you need to take care here is to make sure that you test each and every individual subflows which you have created. You have debugged it so that you are not getting into any errors. Now we have got our flow activated, our orchestration flow activated. We can check out our conditions where we are talking about amount. Now let's get back to our opportunity object and try to create an opportunity, see if the approval are working fine or not. Let's create a new opportunity. The name of opportunity, I'm putting some, you can provide some account name, type of opportunity, lead source, amount, let's put some amount which is greater than what we have added as a condition. Close date could be anything, stage maybe needs analysis, and then provide basically whatever all the required fields you have. Do not forget to put the discount, so I would put discount as maybe 9%, and then I'm going to basically save this. So as soon as I will save this opportunity, because my record triggered flow is configured for this opportunity object, it will trigger the approval process. The manager will receive the approval. In this case, it is me who will receive the approval, and then we will see something over here. We will have to make certain changes to this opportunity record page. So save your changes, and if everything goes well, you are going to receive, if you have selected yourself as a owner, you will receive an email, and I'll show you over here that this is how you will see an email. You will receive an email that you have an approval action from Salesforce, and this is what are the different options you have. You have a link, if by clicking it, it will take you to the approval action, or the user will be taken to the approval action. Now, how the user will be taking any action, how they will be approving this opportunity. For this, you will have to click on gear icon, edit page, and then you will have to add one component inside this opportunity record page, and that is called as flow orchestration work guide. Drag and drop anywhere you want to, save the changes, and if this is asking you to activate, make sure you activate the page, and then go back to the opportunity record page to see the records, to see the information. Now you can see here is the work guide, and this is step number 1, manager approval stage, and it is asking me to provide the information. I will say approve it, and we will say approved as approval comment, and click on finish. So once I click on finish, because the discount is less than 10%, which is 9% is what we have provided here, the discount status should be changed to approved, and the approval comment should also be changed to approved, right? But it has gone to approval regional manager as well. Maybe there is some uh, condition we have to check into our flow, but it is basically sending it to the approval regional manager. We will say okay, go ahead, let's approve, click on finish. Once you click on finish, now because there are no more steps, it will not go to the next regional manager. And if you refresh this opportunity, refresh the tab, you will see the approval comments is changed to let's approved, and approval status is approved. That's how basically your approval, the flow approval works. If you go to the related tab, you will see opportunity history is there, and if you have added something called as approval history, you will see nothing over here, and this is expected. So how you will trace the approvals for this opportunity? For this, you will have to again click on edit gear icon, click on edit page, and then let's add let's add a tab here. Click on the tab, click on add a tab, and we are going to add a custom tab here, and name is approval trace. That is the tab name. Click on done. Select the tab, search for approval trace under the components, and drag and drop here. This is basically approval trace is what it is going to help you to trace the approvals for the approval process which you are creating with the help of flow, and this will help you how basically uh, the complete approval for the particular record has been taken place. You can see here it says this is what it has happened. Click on this work items. These are the approval work items, and it will show you all the details. So that's how basically the approval process works through flow, or we will say flow approval process. Please do let me know what you think about this. This is really amazing feature which we have got as a Salesforce administrator. And yeah, please do like, share, subscribe the channel. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you.